I can't film the people. Remember, no filming pedestrians. They get to violate rights of privacy. They get to violate every last human right and Bill of Rights. But I gotta respect all of theirs. So we're playing a funny game here, but I'm gonna go ahead and cooperate with not filming anybody. Okay, so we're gonna film the ground, and I'm gonna tell you what I just witnessed, because it was something I've never experienced in my entire life on the planet until I came to Port Townsend, Washington State, Jefferson County on July 9th at 1:16 p.m. 2026. So, can I film the boats here? Look, there's two now. There's that one where they stand with their cell phones and all that, right? Day and night. And then there's that one. They just put that one in within the last 24 hours. It's a new boat, okay? I couldn't quite make out if it was abandoned because it's tied up there. I mean, I don't know. I didn't jump in it, but it's right next to the other one. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to filming the ground because we respect rights of privacy, as they don't do any of that here, we know. All right, so around 1:05, it lasted a grueling, miserable 10 minutes. I sat down here at the bench. Here I am, okay? I can't film where I am because there's people. I'm forbidden from filming any people. Okay, I sat at the bench, and there was about 8 kids. It was, preschool. The oldest child was about 7 years old, 8 years old. The youngest child was about, hold on, I gotta keep the kids and the people out of this video. The youngest child was about 5, right? So whatever age that is when they go to like babysitting school. Hold on, there's a really loud muffler, hold on. Before they go to kindergarten, whatever. I don't have kids, okay? So you got the ages, all right? They were here at the play park. It was like a daycare day. They had all this toys out, and they were playing a game, okay? So when you take a group of kids to a park, you got all this theme stuff, Theme. So it was all over the park. It was that bench there. Just sneak a peek at that bench all the way to the play park, okay? And the kids, I have never, not in New York, not in Boston. Do you want me to list all the places I've been? Not in the United Kingdom have I ever seen children do this. Probably the preamble to World War II in Berlin, Germany, I would assume, yeah, you might want to look at some historical archives. You'd see kids doing this, but otherwise, no, I've never seen any kids do this. They were all playing a game of who did the murder, and they were all screaming, "I want to be the murderer! I want to be the murderer!" And there was all these other children down on the beach, and you could tell the other families were not appreciating this. Okay, because some of the other kids that were by these boats over there were like 3 and really small, 4 years old, and they weren't. The people down that way, they're gone. They weren't supporting. Here, I'll film this if no people walk in. They weren't supporting teaching kids this kind of violence. I have never seen children all scream in symphony, "I want to be the murderer!" And they kept chanting and chanting and ranting and chanting like a sports game. "I want to be the murderer." And then one of the kids would go against the rest of the chant and say, "I'll be the one that gets murdered." That's my paraphrase, but they were all chanting they wanted to be the murderer, and they did this for an agonizing 10 minutes, and they got even weirder, okay? So I come and I sit down within 3 minutes. I went over there, I come and sit down. As soon as I come sit on the bench, while these kids are just ranting, chanting in chorus, "I want to be the murderer." Pause, all of them again. "I want to be the murderer." Then they started screaming about blowing things up, verbatim. 2 kids started saying so loud you could hear them to the street, "I want to blow stuff up." They were saying, "I want to blow things up." Okay, and at that point when I sat down, the kids started, little kids, 5 years old. Here comes a pedestrian, I gotta point it down. At that point in time, when the kids started just shouting, they wanted to blow things up and they wanted to be the murderer. And I came to the bench, I sit down, and my guidance is just sit, be calm, just let them just go off. Sit here with them, act like they're just normal kids, and listen to this. And as soon as I sat down, there was 3 daycare people, the adults that watch the kids. There was 3 of them. Everybody in this group was white. The kids and the daycare people, the adults that watched the kid. They all started packing everything up as soon as I sat down. But at that point, the kids were screaming, like hollering, a group of really loud kids, how loud that is, dude. And there was people down there with smaller children that were not appreciating these kids shouting in symphony, in chants, this kind of violence. I have never, until I came to this town, seen kids being taught that. They were being taught that in their daycare trip to the park. Look where we are. Okay, it got worse than that. So they were all screaming, no, I want to be the murderer. I'm going to murder you. And the kids were all just shouting at one another like crazed kids, crazed kids at a game or something, all screaming at one another. How they do that, it's human nature, children behavior. They were all screaming, I want to be the murderer. No, I'm going to murder you. No, I'm going to blow something up. And it was all these kids talking like that. There was not one of them that wasn't shouting violence, just complete shocking violence. Oh no, I'm not making this up. And then as when I sat here, the 3 adult white, there was 2 women and 1 white man, they started packing up this play game. They were teaching the kids how to murder each other. It was a game of murder. They were saying, it's the murder game. I want to play the murder game, verbatim. They were at the park teaching kids how to murder people. Do you think I'd sit here and dream this up just to get views on my freaking Instagram? No, I have to report it. It was so insane. I'm like, no way, you can't say I can't report this. But I had to wait until that group got far away from the play park. So this is what they did. And then once that group left the play park and they were far away, I was able to put it online. So this is very serious because I could not film it until that group had left the area. Okay, so this was a good 5 minutes after they were long gone that I could finally report this. Okay, so as the 3 adults, when I sat down, it wasn't any more than 5 minutes, 6-7 minutes to gather up all these kids. They immediately, bam, started gathering the kids up, and the kids were like all fighting about it. No, we want to play the murder game. And the kids couldn't understand why they were being just up and hosted and swifted away so quickly. And they were shouting. Then they started shouting they wanted to blow things up. Now, as they were packing up, these kids, as they were packing up all these toys, it's like a murder game, okay? I can't be more clear, with toys for it. There was little suitcases filled with toys and stuff, okay? Little kid toys for the murder game. They were teaching the kids these violence, and they had things to teach them with, interactive toys. Do you follow? They had toys there by that bench. They had toys there on that bench. They had toys there for their lovely murder game. They were teaching these children as the kids were screaming about how they wanted to blow things up. I have never in my life seen 5 and 6, 7-year-olds scream they wanted to blow things up until I came to this town. Okay, so it got worse than that. So when I sat here, they started to scream combat. The little kids started to shout all in synchrony. There was 4 little kids that were all going off screaming, let's do combat. Combat, C-O-M-B-A-T. How would little kids 6 years old know about combat? I'm like, what the fuck kind of kids are these? And they were all screaming, I want to be in the murder game. I want to blow things up. And they were all screaming, combat, combat, combat. And you could hear these kids screaming combat all the way to the freaking street as these 3 adults were hosting and swifting them away. And I sat here as these kids were just shouting, combat, we're going to be in combat. What kid fucking knows this? What kid knows that? Why are you teaching the kids this at the park? This is extreme violence. I sat here in shock, and then they all left. Now, I can't film any pedestrians, okay? We have to film the ground. I sat here in shock. And then when the kids were far, far away, way out of the vicinity, I finally report this. Why are they teaching kids this kind of violence? Look at the play park. They were all in the play park screaming about murdering, blowing things up, and combat. Little kids.